Okay, so who is next, Morny?
Up next, we have Maxi99. I'm going to pull them up.
Max, how you doing, bro?
Oh, hello.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Hello.
Oh, dude, I love what you do for the law community.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's my absolute pleasure. I love doing it. So, thank you. What's your question, bro?
Okay, so my question will be taking into account that Galachron got his never-ending hunger after consuming all of the proto-drakes and their respective elemental magics. Can you logically make the claim that the void is the accumulation of all elemental magics?
Yeah, I mean, you literally just awakened an obvious truth to me that I don't know how I missed this. What is void? Void is emptiness, right? And if you truly had, let's say, for example, we had a hole in the ground that was the void, it would be a hole that could never be filled, right? It would literally just be an endless pit of nothingness, and nothing could ever survive in it. It would swallow the world, so to speak, if given enough time. And that's what Galachron was. He was the void become life, right? Become sort of manifest. Because Galachron could not stop eating. In fact, it got so bad that Galachron ultimately started eating the dead proto-drakes as well. So he literally started eating the undead proto-drakes because he couldn't find live ones anymore, because he had killed most of the live ones, and those that were still alive was in hiding from Galachron. Now, could I make a reasonable claim that the void is the accumulation of all elemental magic? Probably not. I could make the claim that the void became unstable. Right? And so, so here's where things get really wild in terms of World of Warcraft. You have order and disorder in World of Warcraft. Opposite ends of the spectrum, meant to keep each other in balance. You have life and death. Opposite ends of the spectrum, meant to keep each other in balance. You have light and question mark. Because void is not the opposite of light. And light will not keep void in balance. If void truly is void, void will literally consume everything. And it will do so gladly. So void cannot be the opposite of actually anything other than reality. Right? Because if void is nothing, reality is something. Something is the opposite of nothing. But again, something would not necessarily counteract nothing. Because the void isn't just nothing. The void is all-consuming. Reality is something waiting to be consumed. So I'm almost convinced at this point that the void, and I'm going to throw this out here. Okay, so if we go back to the origins of the universe, what did that look like? According to Steve Denuser, right? Sorry, what did you want to say, Max?
I thought you asked me a question. So
no, sorry.
I mean, it was light and void, like basically.
That's what they say, right? The Titans tell us that it was light, and then perhaps the void was there at the beginning as well, at least according to the Titans. But that's based on the Titans, so let's put a pin on that in that for now. Let's rather ask ourselves, okay, what did the origins of Azeroth look like? Well, we know that Azeroth was there. We also know that the Elemental Planes was there from very early on, because the Titans didn't even know how the Elemental Planes came into existence. They just knew that they were there. Sorry. They just knew that they were there. That's it, right? So, what if Steve Denuser, in an interview during BFA. Yeah, BFA. During BFA, Steve Denuser is asked about the cosmological forces, the elemental forces, and so on and so forth, Steve the Newser says, you can look at the elemental forces as the primal magic of the universe, with the cosmological forces being the higher magic of the universe. Now, in most fantasy worlds, higher magic is made up of primal magic. So higher magic comes from primal magic being the primary magic of the universe. If this is true, it means that the elemental planes were there first. Now, I'm trying to think, and maybe someone in chat or you, Max, can help me with this, but I'm racking my brain and I can't think of an example. Have we ever encountered the elemental force called spirit outside of the speculation or the theory that Azeroth consumed all spirit upon like her growth period? She went through a growth spurt and then she... Have we ever encountered spirit?
I mean, only Troll comes to mind when you mention spirit. Besides that, I don't.
Where on Draenor, Zed? Because my mind instinctively went to Draenor, right? Like, instantly just went Draenor, somewhere on Draenor, but then it blanked again. I was like, wait, maybe not on Draenor. Yeah, spirit beasts is a different discussion, because spirit beasts can absolutely exist. I'm talking specifically about the elemental plane, including the elemental lord of spirit. Because we know that the elemental lord of spirit does not exist on Azeroth. That we know. There's no elemental lord of spirit. They've been consumed, or whatever the case, right? We have confirmation that the elemental planes were created by the Titan Keepers to imprison the elemental lords after the Old Gods' defeat. The Keepers couldn't kill the elemental lords as they were of Azeroth and would simply return. This is from the first run. Yeah, but Crisco, if I'm talking about the elemental planes, I'm not talking about the physical location. I'm talking about the elementals and their existence. There's no explanation for where the elements come from. Only that they have always been there, or at least that they are there, if that makes sense, right? Oshigam is a Naru, not an elemental. The elemental lord of spirit was consumed by the Evergrowth on Draenor. Okay, so the elemental lord of spirit was consumed by the Evergrowth on Draenor. Right. So what if, and I'm just gonna throw this out there, and like I said, this is I have no evidence for this, but what if the void is spirit that lost its balance? So when the primal magics of the universe formed, and you had earth, water, wind, or air rather, and fire, and spirit, so you had the primal magics, what if spirit became unstable? And as a result of this instability, the void was born. And for this, we sort of go in a sort of tacked on way, and we go to the Expedition Journal, and the Expedition Journal says that there was a need for more, and so the cosmological forces came into existence. There was a need for more. Need suggests that something happened. Something happened that required the existence of higher magics. So what if spirit is the one that devolved into the void? And this is why we don't see spirit. Why spirit is the one that's conspicuously missing all the time from everywhere. That's just my question, right? I'm not saying that it's true. I'm not even saying that you should believe it, because I don't think you should believe it, because we've seen examples of spirit creatures. The only thing that this is based on is the fact that we've never actually seen a spirit lord, which can suggest that we see spirit creatures everywhere, or sometimes, not even everywhere, but we do see them sometimes because there are still remnants of spirit around. But there's not enough for it to actually spawn a lord. So a lord of spirit cannot be born because the spirit that used to be there has devolved into void. And that's where the void lords come from. They were the original lords of spirit. That's crazy. It's a crazy theory, but that's the one I have. Max, what do you think of that?
I mean, if you talk about spirit, if you go back to like Mist of Pandaria, like the monks used to use this thing called chi.
Yeah.
Yes, chi is basically spirit
Yeah,
in
of
that
course.
sense. So, and like during the expansion, you do like meet like how should I say, like you do like have you like go through what chi is, like the game does
Mhm.
explain to you.
Yeah, I know. I'm
But
aware.
but like it's not as clear cut. Like they don't tell you it's exactly spirit. You get what I mean?
Yeah. But the thing is, Azeroth consumed a bunch of spirit. So chi would come from Azeroth, would make sense, because Azeroth does have a lot of spirit consumed. This is also coincidentally where we would go to Algalon in Ulduar. When Algalon is scanning Azeroth, he finds corruption levels are dangerously high. So Azeroth is corrupted already. But the Old Gods have been imprisoned for most of their existence, at least since the Titans arrived. And when the Titans arrived on Azeroth, they did not find Azeroth to be too corrupted. They found Azeroth still savable. Algalon, on the other hand, finds that Azeroth cannot be saved and that Azeroth should be reordered, right? Reoriginated, so to speak. So my question is, what if the spirit that Azeroth consumed already turned her into this quote-unquote Void Titan, but not a Void Titan? She consumed the spirit before it could be used by the Void in order to grow stronger. It's a ragtag theory, to say the least. It's part of my stretch to try and explain the Void, if that makes sense. Because that's really the one thing that I'm trying to do desperately, is explain what the Void is. Because, well, we know so little about them, and yet they've been the drivers of so much of World of Warcraft, if you really think about it. So much of what World of Warcraft does and what happens in World of Warcraft is driven by the Void. And what the Void is. And yet, almost no knowledge about what the Void is or what the Void Lords are, or even what the Old Gods is, to some extent. Other than what the Titans told us they are. Right?
I mean, that was the whole reason the Titans even bothered to come to Azeroth, was the presence of the Old Gods. Like,
Yeah.
rather, not just come, but the reason why they were traveling the cosmos when they found Azeroth infested with these Old Gods, they're like, oh, this cannot be good.
Yeah. I mean...
And technically, the Burning Legion now is connected to at least something that Sargeras saw in the Void that prompted him to, take up his blade and betray the Titans.
Please remember where that comes from. That comes from the Titans.
Oh yeah,
as
I know.
well. The Titans were the ones that said that Sargeras heard from a friend that, the Void Lords are the real problem. Sargeras, as far as I know, never told us that the void is the real problem. I don't remember Sargeras ever saying that. What I do know is that the demons fight the void and the light in equal succession. Like, they hate both of them. Very much so. And the light hates the demons. With the light and the void despises the demons in equal measure. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, all we have is the words of the Titans. Anyways, Max, did you want to add anything or ask anything else?
No. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for the question. I'm so sorry that I couldn't answer it in more detail. You literally asked
No, it's okay.
one of those black hole questions in World of Warcraft where all I can give you is loosely based random ass theories because we genuinely don't know. And you sort of have to pull it out of your ass. Just be like, "I'll maybe this." Let's see how that goes. I love those theories, and they're very fun to discuss because effectively you pull one out of your ass, and then you sort of follow it until you hit enough roadblocks in the theory, and you go, okay, clearly not this. This isn't working. And then you pull another thing out of your ass, and you follow that, and you see how many roadblocks you can get, and then hopefully you get a theory that doesn't hit any snags or any roadblocks. But yeah, those are rare. Because
in other words, Accolonn just likes pulling stuff out of his ass on TV or on camera,
or putting it in.
Okay.
Max, thank you so much for the question, bro.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, fam.
Okay, see you.
Peace out, man.